It's very easy today to set up a new category, but you know what? Most companies don't want to do that. They're looking for ways to introduce better products. The key question to ask yourself when you have a new product is, first what? Try to invent a category. Marketing today is more a battle of category than it is a battle of brands. That's the law of the category. The next law is the law of the mind. It's better to be first in the mind than it is to be first in the marketplace. See, now it gets a little more difficult. It's not enough just to introduce the first product in a category. It's not enough to set up a new category you can be first in. You got to use this in order to get in the mind first. For example, the first commercial computer was not IBM. It was Sperry Rand's UNIVAC. But you see, they didn't mount a massive marketing program like IBM did. IBM put all their resources into the commercial computer, and they won the battle for the mind. They got in the mind first. The same thing is true of personal computers. The first personal computer was the MITS Altair 8800. Who's ever heard of MITS Altair 8800? I mean, that product is just as famous as Bert Hinkler. Nowhere. Who got in the mind first? Apple. Apple got in the mind first, and people think that Apple was the first personal computer. Not true. Now think about the word Apple as opposed to the name MITS Altair 8800. Apple is a nice, simple, easy name to remember. If you want to get in the mind first, you have to do the same thing. You have to have a nice, simple, easy name to remember. That's the law of the mind. Now, there's a lesson here. It's not necessary to invent everything. However, if you have the resources, you move rapidly enough, you can dominate a market by getting into the mind first. It is very, very important to your success to be first in the mind of the customer or prospect. That's one of the key essences of success in business today. The next law is related to the law of the mind. It's the law of perception. Marketing is not a battle of products. It's a battle of perceptions inside the mind of the customer or prospect. Let me give you an example. Take automobiles. Most people think when you sell an automobile, it's horsepower, styling, and whatever. Not necessarily true. You have to think about the perceptions of the car inside the mind. Take an example of the Japanese imported cars in America. Now, in the United States, the largest selling Japanese imported car is Honda. Number 2 is Toyota. Number 3 is Nissan. Now, in Japan, they sell exactly the same cars. You would think, would you not, if marketing were a battle of products, that the sales order in Japan would be at least similar to the sales order in the United States, but it's not. In Japan, Toyota is number 1, and Honda is number 3. In Japan, Toyota outsells Honda more than 4-1. The cars are the same, but the minds are different. If I walked into my office in New York and told my daughter I bought a Honda, she'd say, "Dad, what kind of a Honda did you get? Did you get the 2-door, the 4-door? Did you get the hatchback?" If I lived in Tokyo and walked into the office and told my associates I bought a Honda, they would say to me, "Al, what kind of a motorcycle did you buy?" Because you see, in Japan, when you say Honda, you think motorcycle. So why would you buy an automobile from a motorcycle company? That doesn't fit the perception of Honda in the mind. Take another example. Coca-Cola. As you may know, a number of years ago, Coke introduced a better tasting product called New Coke. How do we know it was better tasting? Because the Coca-Cola company did 200,000 taste tests, and they proved that New Coke tastes better than Pepsi, and Pepsi tastes better than the original formula, now called Coca-Cola Classic. So what is winning the battle Is it the best tasting cola? No. New Coke, the best tasting cola, is number 3 in sales. And the regular Coca-Cola, the old formula, now called Coca-Cola Classic, is number 1 in sales. Why is that? Well, think about it. The can says New Coke. People look at that and say, they changed the formula. I'm not going to like the taste of that. So you taste it and say, I don't like the taste. The mind tells the mouth what something ought to taste like. Perception is critical in marketing. It's perception. You have to match what's in the mind if you want to be successful. Take another example. Volkswagen. Volkswagen came into the U.S. market with a small, ugly, but reliable car called the Volkswagen Beetle. It quickly became the best-selling imported car in America. 1 year, it had 67% of the imported car market. So what did Volkswagen do? They came out with a full line of good-looking cars. People looked at those cars and said, they're not Volkswagens. So today, Volkswagen's share of the imported car market is just 4%, in spite of the fact they have a full line of 8 good-looking cars. Now, Volkswagen, as you may know, has been showing a new car called Concept 1 in automobile shows around the world. People look at that car, small, ugly, reliable, and say, that's a Volkswagen. I think that car is going to be a big seller. It matches what's in the mind of the customer. That's the law of perception. The next law is the law of focus. The most powerful concept in marketing is owning a word, just a simple word, in the prospect's mind. Take an example. Emery Air Freight was the first and largest air cargo carrier in America. What did Emery Air Freight offer? Everything. Anything you wanted to ship. Small packages, large packages, overnight service, 2 or 3 day delayed service. Anything you wanted to ship, you could ship via Emery Air Freight. What did Federal Express do? Federal Express narrowed the focus to one service, small packages overnight. And today, Federal Express is a much bigger company than Emery. As a matter of fact, Mr. Emery got fired. Now, what is the advantage of narrowing the focus to overnight service only? It's because Federal Express owns the word overnight in the mind of the customer. When people want to ship a package overnight, they say, let's FedEx it. That means overnight service. Take another example, pizza. See, the pizza market isn't one market. It's at least 3 markets. It's the eat-in market, the restaurant tables and waitresses. It's the take-out market, you take the pizza home. And it's the home delivery market. Now, Pizza Hut is the leader. They have the advantage of being first. But the number 2 and 3 brands are the ones that just sell a slice of the market. For example, Domino's Pizza is the number 2 brand. They focused on home delivery. By focusing on home delivery only, they were able to put that concept in the mind. When you think home delivery, you think Domino's Pizza. Now, Little Caesars, on the other hand, focuses on the takeout pizza business. Now, takeout is the cheapest way to sell a pizza. You have no waiters or waitresses or tables. You have no delivery trucks. So their focus is 2 pizzas for the price of 1. Or as they say in their advertising, pizza, pizza. They spend $50 million saying, pizza, 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 pizza. Believe me, after 2 weeks or so, that idea is firmly embedded in the mind. If you want 2 pizzas for the price of 1, you got to go to Little Caesars. That same